Hello, everybody. Can you guys hear me okay? Oh, you know what I can do? I'm gonna put it in here. How did I do it last time? Oh, good. I just got all your replies. Let's throw that image in here too. Image. Browse. Let's throw that render that I just did from last time. Just ginormous. All takes up the whole screen. There we go. Here's my rough render from last time. I'm not used to having the stream. I'm not used to having my chat over here. I've moved my chat this time, so I'll be looking here for my references and here for the chat. And yes, I need to get off that. Close Discord. Close YouTube. So I'm not streaming to myself. How's everyone doing? Are we ready to finish up this garment? And I'm going to show you guys how to make a fit suit today. And we have Eric in the chat on Restream for me, or at least on the YouTube there. And just making sure that we have everything working on our end, hopefully. Oh, okay. So Eric is going to be in the Restream chat app as well as the YouTube account, just so we can get some emojis in there from us. I don't know how to get emojis in. Interesting. But yeah, so we're gonna finish up this garment. This is just a render. I just did this one, and I forget that I don't have the whole screen. I just did this quick little dirty render of the current status of the garment that we had in Clo, which is our sister software. So I just rendered this one, and today we're going to make this the coat a little bit more cyberpunky. I'm gonna add some shoulder points. I'm thinking. Make the skirt a little bit more of a more like A-line, or maybe even more ruffled. We'll see. And then we'll be adding a hood to this, just because I'm gonna go ahead and say that there's acid rain wherever this character is, and she needs to protect her head. And then what we're going to be doing is taking this look, and then we're going to put it on the new avatar in Marvelous Designer 10, which is Hannah, and she's our stylized avatar. I will show you guys all how to make a fit suit, because I did see that we were having some, in our Discord at least, and some of our YouTube, we've had a few comments, I've seen them, of people struggling making fit suits for avatars, so I'm going to show you how to do that on this stream, so hopefully we can clear up that confusion, and you guys can ask questions as I'm doing it. It's relatively easy, but you just gotta wait a little bit because it does take a little time, especially when you're taking the garment and then putting it on to the other sized avatar. And I did test it. I may or may not adjust the fit after it's gone on to the new avatar. What does happen with the fit suit is it's never going to be perfect. So it's going to adjust to the approximate size of the previous avatar. For the Hannah avatar, her bust is a lot larger than the base avatars that we have. So you'll probably end up seeing the top here fit very differently than it does on the current avatar. So that would need some pattern manipulation, which isn't uncommon when you're doing such a extreme sizing, or in sewing terms, a extreme grading difference. But yeah, and so I will finish this up in Marvelous Designer today, and feel free to ask questions as we go along. Oh, this is so weird looking to my left. My left is the right of the screen. But yeah, so we'll get started, and I'll do the spiel in, we'll do the starting spiel in about 4 minutes or so with all of our information. And we have that quiz from Rosemary. Rosemary's little factoids from last week, for those of you who are here. For those of you who weren't here, unfortunately, you didn't study for the test. I am kidding. We won't have a quiz. I want to have a quiz. Maybe I'll start that from the streams here on out, and actually have quizzes. But we're gonna wait about 3 more minutes, and then we'll get started. So the dress isn't gonna look how it looks here, by the way. Question, what is the name? Actually, yes. What is the name of the program that I'm about to use, everybody? I don't know why my chat's lagging. I'm actually going to open up YouTube, because I just got all your comments all at once. Awesome. Kitty, you watched the first part, so we're about there. If you saw the creation of the skirt and the top, that's basically it. This coat, I did sort of last minute. It's one of our modular jackets. I might just kind of start again from there. YouTube Studio. I don't know why I'm getting lagging chats though. I'm gonna jump in our YouTube chat just like Eric is done. Pop that chat out to make sure I can see it. So yes, question, what is the name of the program that we're going to use? Hint, it is the name of our YouTube channel and our Twitch channel. I've seen a few comments recently asking us what the software is, and I'm like, it's our YouTube channel. It's right there. All right, I have this up. I don't have enough space for all of these. YouTube chat, just overlap over all the other chats. Perfect. I can't see anything on my left screen. Is it Microsoft Solitaire Collection? You know, it's close. Close. It does start with an M. So you're really close, I think. There. All right, it is 10 after. So the answer to that question is we are using Marvelous Designer today. For those of you who are in the past on our YouTube channel, the software is called Marvelous Designer that we're going to be using. So let's go ahead and start the spiel here. Rosemary is one of our Discord members, so it's always great to see our Discord members in the chat. I'm going to copy the link to our Discord. Wait, this isn't Blender. No, it's not Blender, but you can export it into Blender. So here's a link to our Marvelous Designer Discord for those of you who want to talk with other people who use Marvelous Designer. This is our Marvelous Designer Discord community. Most people are active here, the most out of all of our options that I'm going to be sharing. We also have our website, which has our forum. I'm linking again. Here, our website here is marvelousdesigner.com. You can go there and also check the prices for Marvelous Designer, as well as you can, check the forum as well, check our community page. Then for those of you who are on our Twitch, our YouTube channel, we are also streaming to. Here is a link to our YouTube channel. So for those of you who are on Twitch, we will leave this stream up for the 2 weeks and then let it expire. But on our YouTube channel, we will just leave this up in perpetuity so that you can use it as reference. As well as here on our YouTube channel, we do have a lot of tutorials that are free that we have made in-house and that are the best practices that we recommend for using Marvelous Designer and learning Marvelous Designer. So here's a link to get you started on those tutorials for beginners with the software. These beginner tutorials are going to be great for people who have never worked in Marvelous Designer before, who are new to the software entirely. We do have more complex and higher level advanced tutorials as well, but the one I have linked in the chat is just the basic get started making stuff and get started playing around. And last but not least, if you are having any technical issues or if you have any questions, here's a link to our support page so you can actually submit a support ticket. If you're struggling with the software and you're having a technical issue, feel free to contact us there through the website and through our support ticket. So let's go ahead and start with the introductions. For those of you who don't know, I'm Megan. I am a community manager and 3D designer for Marvelous Designer. You may have seen me in the Discords before. Sometimes I'm here on the YouTube answering questions and streaming. And then in the chat on both the Marvelous Designer YouTube and the Restream account, doing the emojis, is Eric. He also works for Marvelous Designer as the US Business Development Manager, and he'll be helping answer questions if I miss them during the stream and moderating. So be polite in the chat. So let's go ahead and get started finishing up this look. I'm not used to having this switched around. There we go. I'm so tall. All right, we'll see how this works. Let me know if my head is too big. So I'm going to go ahead and open that previous project. Layer 2. So here is where we left off from last time. I had just imported one of the basic modular mode jackets, which I will go ahead and redo it just because it's not going to take a lot of time. Because I do know we have some people that missed this. So here was that garment that we made from scratch. So what I did for that coat, and I'm going to be working from that coat to finish up this look, I'm going to the modular configurator. I'm choosing women. And you have all these free patterns here, and I'm choosing the trench coat. I don't want the raglan sleeve, I want the set-in sleeve because I will be making a pointed shoulder, and it'll be a little bit easier. I have some options. I'm choosing the double-breasted coat, so it's got buttons on both sides. I can show you what it looks like with just the one, where they're meeting in center front. But I do want the double-breasted just because that was the look that I liked. And I'm double-clicking them to bring them into my workspace. And then I'm going to go ahead and choose, do I want the cuffs? Let's see the cuff strap. This one has the cuffs, and then this one does not have the cuffs. We'll go with the cuffs. Now before I simulate this, I am going to make sure that everything here is frozen with Control K, which is the hotkey for freezing. I'm selecting this modular garment here, and I'm making it all layer 1, so it's the layer above everything below, so it'll pop out from the garment, which helps with collision and prevents any collision issues. And then I'm going to go ahead and simulate. And that pops right out. You can see that it was taking a little bit longer on the skirt. And so that's why it's good to make your newer garment, if you're importing something, a layer above, because there are things that you might not see. Letting that settle. You can see when I've clicked away, it's got those blue lines. That's telling me that it's got a layer value added. So I do need to remove that before I do much else. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those layers. So layer 0 again. And I no longer need the modular frames or the modular mode anymore. So you can see these gray frames. This is letting me make any changes I want. If I don't like the sleeve, I can go back into the configurator and change the sleeve out, or I can change all of the garments to like a shirt instead. So if you have ever used modular mode and tried to swap in between different garments, or if you've tried to do multiple modular garments and layer them over each other and have had a problem actually having that work, you need to remove the frame. Otherwise it thinks you're just trying to swap it in between. So I'm done with my modular mode, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the frame by right-clicking and going to remove modular relationship. The modular frame will be deleted. Would you like to proceed? Yes. And now that's gone. And if I wanted to, I could add more of those modular mode pieces now. Last stream, I already have my fabric here, so I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop it. I chose a nylon canvas, so this is going to be a clear plastic raincoat kind of a look. So I have my nylon canvas. I've made this a clear plastic, or it's a plastic type here. I like how the plastic looks. There is another option that you can choose, which is metal, and then make it low on opacity here. And this is just the base options in Marvelous Designer if you don't have like the plastic substance painter textures. You can play around just with the plastic and the metal to get these cool looking wrinkles. I'm going to go ahead and stick with plastic and then bring the opacity down again. Maybe not that low. Yeah, let's stick with 35. I can always change it later. And then I do want to do the same to the buttons before I do anything else. Check the buttons. I've just clicked one of the buttons and I am in my button object browser and I can see the default button. So I can go ahead and just color pick that. Oh, okay, it's just one button. Fine. I have no other buttons, so I'm just going to color pick them all. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and make this, instead of fabric matte, zooming in on the button here, I'm going to also make this plastic. And leave it like that, and then do the same to the other buttons. Just so they have that shine to them. I can always make them a little bit clearer if I wanted to go with this, but you will see the geometry inside the button if you do this. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave them opaque. And this is where we left off last stream. So I'm going to leave this outfit frozen, the one below. And so I think first of all, I want to add more of a flared skirt to the raincoat here. So first thing I want to do is change the pose for my avatar. Just in case, I will unfreeze this and go to my avatar options, avatar, female version 2, pose, and I want to put her back in that larger A pose. Pose only, maintain avatar size. The reason I'm doing this is I'm moving her arms out of the way because I am going to be adding more volume to the skirt. As you can see, it is affecting how the garment is draping, but that's okay. I'm going to do the shoulders after I do the skirt. Because this skirt is a little bit too close for how I want this to look, I want to have the raincoat have the actual like larger flare, like almost new look size, maybe, we'll see. And just have it have a different volume than the underskirt here. So to do that, it's just going to be adding volume around the hem. So I'm going to move some pattern pieces out of the way. And grabbing them. These ones here are symmetrically linked, so I don't need to worry about them right now, but I do need to worry about the center back because it is not symmetrically linked. As you can see, there is a little bit of a different pleat here. So they will need to be adjusted individually. So I'm just adding some space in between them here. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab all of the points. Holding shift so I don't actually move them. And we'll do a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and cheat. Where are you? Give me this one. I'm trying to grab them all on the one side so that they evenly move as best I can. Because it will be different for the center back. But I can reference each one. So grabbing these points, because they're all the matching seam lines. Holding shift, I can add more volume to the skirt. And then this one, I can just measure this. 209, change length. So I right-clicked it and I chose change length, so it's now 209. I don't want it from the start, I want it from the end. And now these are the same measurement. I definitely need to true this up, but let's see how this looks when I hit simulate. Oh, and just to make it a little bit easier, I am going to go back, freeze this, make this entirely opaque just so I can see it. And let that go. Oh, did I deactivate it? I didn't mean to deactivate it. I meant to freeze it. Okay, good. Now it's frozen. Now it needs to resettle itself just because I did that. And just pull it down and play with it. This is made of the nylon canvas, so it'll be probably stiff as you're seeing here. I mean, same with clear plastic. So we're going to see how this actually looks. And this is 10 particle distance, so it's not surprising that it's going a little bit on the slow side. But yeah, it's just very stiff. All right. Well, let's go ahead, and I do want this to be a little bit longer, so I'm going to zoom in again on the hem. It is so bright. Oh my goodness. All right. So I just want to lengthen this, so I'm just going to go ahead, select all of the bottom segment lines, and then just hold shift and drag it down. And we'll see if I like it. I'm probably going to end up adding more volume to the sides. But we'll see. Make this layer. No, we won't. I'm going to just pull this out. If I made this layer 1, I would have had this fall off the dress. Select mesh. Where is this? And just pull that out of the coat. It was having some collision issues, as you guys saw. Let's see how the nylon hand. Let's see how this looks. Clear. Actually, that's not bad. We'll just add a little bit more to the sides. And then we'll go ahead and move on and add the hood and the shoulders. And I do want to check this again, 262.6, change length. It's pointing in little arrows pointing to the right. I don't want it going to the right. I want it to go to the end or to the left. And I think that's going to be the most volume we want. And then let's go ahead and put our arms back down and see how it actually is going to look, because she's pulling it up by having her arms out, and that's changing how it's looking. Maybe not that far out, but well, we'll see. Maybe into the slightly... We'll put it in the other A pose here. And then we'll go ahead and start working on the shoulders. Okay. Stop. All right, there we go. Simulate that again just so it settles, and then I'll start making those shoulders. I can't decide if I want it to be super spiky or not, but we're gonna find out. Oh yeah, yes, my voice is in some of those tutorials. Stop. Just let it settle for a minute here. let it settle, and then I can go ahead and basically ignore the rest of the bottom of this skirt, the skirt of this coat. So next we'll be doing the shoulders here. I'm probably just going to do a small spike. I just want a point on the shoulders. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go put these back in their spots. Just so I know which one I have. Because next I'm going to do these shoulders. So shoulder, front, back. There you are. And then sleeve. Hello. Come here. Come to me, sleeve. So I'm moving these together just for my own visual purposes. What I'm going to be changing is the pattern here on the sleeve. So it's going to be this side here, and then this piece here. You can see actually if I put my little ghost there, which is that blue dot, if I click it in the 3D window, I have a little ghost, which lets me reference where I've clicked in the 3D window on the 2D pattern. So I'm going to be making adjustments to the shoulders, including the arm here. I don't need the underarm sleeve, but I'm just going to leave it. Since this is a two-piece sleeve, there's an upper piece and a lower piece for those of you who are unfamiliar with patterns. So this is the upper pattern, this is the upper sleeve, and then this is the lower sleeve. You often see these on coats and nicer garments, including like suiting. You'll see that. So let's go ahead and play a little bit. So what I want to do is I want to just make a pointed sleeve here. I could just do it all in the upper sleeve and have this go out like this. But we're going to play with the pattern a little bit first. And this is also the reason I'm doing this, is there's a few ways to do this. I can just draft how I want this to look in the 2D window here. So I could literally just go ahead and do this and draft the extra pieces. Holding control makes a curve point. And then just pick a point where I want it to join. And then basically follow the previous points here. And then actually merge this pattern. As you can see that. That's really fine though, so I'm gonna do more out. And then curve it. Maybe make that straight. Control C, Control R makes a reflected version, so I can just make this perfectly fit by adjusting it and making it match as best I can to the other side. So this is one way of making your pattern edits. Or you can actually just manipulate the pattern itself. But this would be a little bit more accurate and a little bit safer for your pattern here. So that you know it's going to match up. Edit curve. So now I know these are going to match. So I can do this. Using the Edit Sewing tool, I'm just deleting these sewing relationships. And I'm taking this piece, using the Free Sewing tool, stopping at the main point, and then doing that to the other one as well. I'm just sewing them together, and because I've sewn them together, I can right-click the sewing line and choose Merge, and it merges these two pattern pieces. As you can see here, though, it is going to change. It's going to make it can potentially make this a collision issue. So I'm going to go ahead and select these, everything I'm working with here, right click after I've selected, inverse the selection, and I am going to freeze this all, including these pieces here, the little tiny guys. You can see that they're frozen. And simulate, this is going to, yep, there it is. It'll give me a little bit of whiplash. What I should have done, which is a better practice, which I didn't do before I merged them, was superimpose these pattern pieces, which would be selecting a pattern piece, right click, and you can superimpose. I should have done superimpose over and under. Why? I just forgot. That's why. Please let me grab it. Thank you. So it's really do as I say, not as I always do. And here now I can see how high this shoulder piece is going to be, but it's fine because I can always change this. That might actually look kind of cool. I'm going to go ahead and support this seam line before I do anything. Turn off simulation. By using the seam taping, I'm just going to put seam taping on the shoulders, which will support this seam and make it a little bit stiffer. There we go. So you can see how tall this is going to be. I may or may not want that, but we're about to find out. Turning off simulation, I'm now going to go ahead and pivot this so I can see what size my sleeve needs to be. I have a pretty good idea, but this is another way to check the shape of your sleeve sometimes. Sometimes when it's spiked, it's not really the best, but oh, I can also see that this is curved. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the curve points on this. There we go. So I can check the length of this curve as well. So 146.4. So I need to make this line here 146.4. So just keeping an eye on that. Close. 0.9. A little bit less. And check this one, 145.5, because these segments are sewing into each other, so that's what's helpful. 145.5, 152. So let's go ahead and do this then. I can also just adjust it as we go. It's getting there. I'm probably going to end up reducing the height of this one anyway, but let's go ahead and sew them together. So sewing the fronts to the front. Yeah, I see I've got ease there. And then sewing the back to the back. I went from there. Yeah, this is going to be a little too big on the shoulder. Oh, it's because it's clear. Let's make that less opaque again. There we go. So it's a little easier to see. So it's a very strong spike here. Let's see. I do want to reduce this. This looks a little odd. Yeah, I'll support the seam once I've gotten the measurement a little bit better. Because right now this is the stiffest it can get. Oh my god, I love that it goes out like that. I did not anticipate that. That kind of looks cool. That's not what I wanted though, so we'll go ahead and fix it a little bit. This is happening because I actually need more volume in the upper sleeve, so let's go ahead and pull that out. This is also way taller than I wanted, so yeah, we'll make it smaller. I mean, it looks really cool, but also I probably don't need to have it this spiky. Full, thank you. And then we will add more of the seam tape to the shoulder points here, because I'm probably going to put a shoulder pad in there. We'll see how I feel about it in a minute. I don't want to do the major manipulation that it's wanting to make me do. The level of not trying to do a full pattern manipulation and open up the sleeve that I'm trying to avoid right now is very severe. I should be slashing the sleeve open at the cap and adding more volume there, but it takes a lot of time and I was trying to avoid that. I need to clean that up. Converting this one to a curve point, cleaning up these curves. You know what? Come on. Alright, fine, we'll do it the hard way. I didn't think doing that was going to be so annoying, but that's okay. That's how life is. What I need to do is remove some of this point here, so I actually just need to make this a straight line. And delete all curve points. Check how that's fitting again. I will make this a little bit more. And put it back. And I'm just going to fix this. It's actually going up too high, which is why it's needing support. And I wanted to get us over to the fit suit sooner than later. So let's go ahead and just do this a little easier. Here. I want this to be a little bit. I'm just going to have this be a pleat because I just don't like that it's looking like a spike or a crow beak for some reason. I didn't really have a style of shoulder point in mind, but this is not it right now. So you're just kind of watching me decide which one I like. Welcome to Designing with Megan. So I'm deleting the curve points now because it's no longer going from here up. So it'll make it actually look a lot cleaner. Because now it's going straight across from the shoulder. But I did forget how low this actually was before I manipulated it, which is what you guys are seeing me get this back to. I did make it stiff. And then we need to make this the same length again. 85.3. Okay, this needs to be 85.3. Or something close to it. Because I just didn't have design style in mind. Unstiffen that. Because I actually like how that looks a lot more. Right now it's using the cap of the sleeve to make this point here. I could draw on here. Let's see. That's what I was about to do. Rosemary, I need you to stop reading my mind. That would be great. Well, we'll take a look at the fold angle. We need to be careful though, because it might be a little bit too much. Let's see. I might want to do it here. So what I just did was I used the Line 3D pattern tool to draw in the 3D window exactly where the fold is. This is going to be turned into an internal line, so I'm right clicking. I have a few options. I can trace it. I'm going to convert this to an internal shape. So here in my 2D window, oh my god, let's make that not, okay, thank you. Here in my 2D window, I have that line now. Oh, I turned this off for the previous stream. There we go. I have that line that I drew. It's wobbly as heck, so let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit. This is going to help me adjust that line. So now it's a lot cleaner. I can now select this and I can choose my fold strength. So I'm going to show you the hard way. So just so you can see it a little bit easier here. So here in the 3D window is the tool called the Fold Arrangement tool. I can use this to select my lines. And here if I don't know how the lines work, I can just do this and see it. I do need to connect the ends, but I'm just showing you here. So I can take the red angle and the red arrow and angle it outwards. And this is going to affect my fold angle. So my fold angle is now 228. So let's go ahead and just simulate that and see how it looks. This is now forcing the crease right here, which is supporting this shoulder piece. Now, normally this would have a shoulder pad in there, but it's going to be clear and it's plastic. So I can use the fold angle to actually support this. And because it's plastic and it's relatively stiff, forcing this angle in here, I can do in Marvelous Designer. I can't really do that in real life. I don't really recommend it because it'll affect how it looks. But here, you can easily force things, and I can also specifically set how I want even these wrinkles to lay. Just make sure when you're all done to kind of like toggle it off, see how it looks without that line. You won't have that line when you export it, so just be aware. So I actually like how that looks. But I haven't done any of that to the other side. So what I'm going to do is completely clear her other arm of all my patterns. And then I'm going to make a symmetrically linked piece. Yeah, I actually like that. We're gonna go right ahead and leave that. And then I'm going to go ahead and spin this guy back around. I am no longer done. I'm no longer needing to manipulate this. And the reason I'm rotating it back to where it was, or approximately as much as I can, is because how it is plastic, but how it was is going to affect how it drapes, because there is a stretchier direction in most fabrics. In this case, we're trying to make it plastic, but it is still being registered as a nylon canvas. Just because I like how it wrinkles a little bit more, and I'm making it actually look like plastic. So the nylon canvas does have a weave, whereas like real plastic doesn't. So make sure to keep your weave as perfectly straight up and down on the fabric as you can. Okay. And what I'm going to do is delete that one. I'm deleting all the front and back of the other side, or the right worn arm. So I'm just going to go ahead and select all of this because it's going to take up that place. Right click, and I'm going to choose clone pattern with linked editing. And it's all the way over there. Worth a try. Sometimes the hotkey Control F will actually get it into place, but it's not always true. But luckily it's all together. It's exactly how it drapes. So I'm just going to go ahead and place that on her arm as close as I can. Because everything else is frozen. Gonna need to move this out of the way, but that's okay. I can go ahead and select that with the box tool. Where are you? Which side are you? Oh, it's frozen. I forgot. Control K. Now I can select it. I'm not simulating it. Just keep an eye on that, because I am going to go ahead and freeze it again, because I see that it's colliding with the new piece that I've introduced. And I don't want that to happen. So I'm just grabbing it and pulling it out of the way. And then, okay, now that that's out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and sew it back into place. Using the free sewing tool or the M hotkey, I'm just sewing these pieces together. These already have a sewing relationship. I just need to do the back side panel here. And simulate. It's going to cause a little bit of a buckle issue. Turning simulation off, and I'm going to go ahead and fix this buckle. Or buckle. Tie in this case. Selecting those tabs, making them layer 2. I'm going to make the buckle layer 1. And it should pop out, but hopefully stay underneath. Where are you? There you are. Okay, come here. Where did that go? And where did you go? Come here. I must not have sewn you back on. Where'd you go? There it is. Using the segment sewing tool, I'm just going to sew this right back onto the garment here. Belt loop, thank you. I need to drink water. She says drinking her coffee instead. That's the one thing about streaming is I just forget to drink water and then I forget the words for things. Come on. Let me have the tab. There we go. Thank you. Control K. There we go. Okay. Selecting all of the coat one more time. Oh wait, I actually need to put that pocket right back on. Not this pocket, this pocket. And I'm just putting the pocket back on where the other one was. Yep. And pulling it out from her. Right clicking, and this is where I would recommend what you should have done with the other pattern pieces, which is the superimpose. Superimpose over. And unfreeze all of this. Just the jacket. And if your buttons do this, you can just right click your buttons. You can see this here. This sometimes happens with Marvelous Designer when you do a lot of things when you have buttons, which is generally why it's best to put your buttons on near the end. If this does happen to you, where it's inside your garment, you can always pull at it. You can also right click it and reset 3D position. I am also going to just pull it out. And simulate, so it just pops right back on there. Alright, we have our fun little spikes, or little crow beaks. I did not intend for it to be crow beaks, but I think it actually looks kind of cool. I didn't have a plan for that. But let's go ahead and then do the next thing, which is actually a lot easier than all of this. Which is I will make a hood for her. My whole 2D window is ugly, so I'm gonna go ahead and fix that real fast. At least it's nicer looking this way. Keep my UV map as clean as I can. And let's go ahead and make a hood. Do I want to steal the hood from somewhere? Or do I not want to steal the hood? Because we're just going to have the hood be down. I might pull it up. But it's going to affect how this fits her head, so we're going to see. Oh, you know what? I might just cheat here. Where is that collar? Normally I would put the hood in like this seam on a coat, but I might cheat and put it on top and see how this looks, because you know what, this is a fantasy outfit, you know? Let's go. So let's go ahead and try that. The hood doesn't have to be perfect. We're just playing around. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a rectangle. Make it about the size of her head, but quite wide. Control C, Control R. Or Control D actually is what I want. This is now symmetrically linking these pattern pieces. Control C and Control D makes the symmetrically linked pattern piece. So keep that in mind. And then I'm going to make a centerpiece because I like... Do I want to make it a centerpiece? Yeah, we'll just do that. We'll just do a basic one for now. I don't know if I want to add a point to this hood or not, but we'll see. For now, I'm just adding the center bar, which prevents the wrinkling on most hoods. And especially because this is a stiff material, I'm adding the bar to have two seams instead of just the one, where everything meets up around the head. So going over and toggling on the arrangement points for my avatar, just going and selecting this one and then selecting this back guy. So this is the start of the hood. I'm actually going to go ahead and freeze the coat and everything besides the hood. Unfreeze and freeze. So everything is frozen except for the hood. And I'm going to go ahead and sew them together. Using the N hotkey, I am going to toggle off the arrangement points. I'm just going to go ahead and sew them in the 3D window. And oh yeah, I do need to add one more. Forgot to do math. Not polygon, I want rectangle. There's no reason why I could do math when I could just do this. So I basically just made the curve around it. This is actually going to have to change, but you will see my lazy method. And I'm just merging these together. Again, I should have done the other way around with superimpose, but that's fine. Wrong side. Is that crossing? It definitely is crossing. Oh yeah, there we go. Why make it a curve? I know, we're gonna see. I might decide not to, but I don't know how it's gonna drape. So we're gonna find out how that looks in a minute. I don't know if we want it to be square or if I want to make this into an actual point. So we're gonna find out how this looks. Because it kind of looks a little silly. Alright. I've just created the shape. I do need to fix how it's going to fit, so I'm going over to the collar that it's sewing into. Just for funsies. Because I want to sew it into this seam to start off with, which is right here. Oops. Selecting my little ghost. So it's actually this piece here, and then we're going to leave this as it is. So I'm actually going to measure this on the half. So 197.2 split in half, split, uniform split to, okay. 197.2, this should equal 197.2. 202.8. First of all, I'm going to raise this. Raise this, because I know it's going to have a bit of a curve, but I don't know how severe. Adding more curve points to my hood. We are very much eyeballing it right now. Let's go ahead and sew it into it, and we're going to see how this drapes. Okay, it's on that side, and then I want to sew it into this side. Okay, that is still too wide. But that's okay. Then going from the other end. My sewing is overlapping. I cannot simulate this right now. So I'm selecting this line, adjusting it 21.8. So I'm going to go ahead and make this 21.8. As close as I can get. It doesn't have to be perfect. But both sides should be 21.8-ish. Alright, let's see what happens. I might have to delete her hair for a minute. She does have that low bun. Alright, clearly with the bun, it needs more space in the front. I might actually keep this and give it a point at the top to match the rest of the sleeves here, but this needs to come forward. So to do that, I can just pull, actually I'm going to rotate this one. So it's the reason I'm rotating this one, so this top point here. So when I make this pattern manipulation, or when I manipulate this and pull it forward, all of it's going to go forward. Grabbing these points, I don't need to grab this one because it is linked to this piece, so I can just pull it forward like this. And it will go. Clearly, I need to make this adjustment as well. But getting this to fit the head is the most important part. It's got some wrinkling going on, so there's clearly something with the pattern that I need to fix. Or it's going on her head. We're going to see. Oh, it's going in her ear, that's why. Get out of the ear, please. This is at 20 particle distance, so that might be why it's looking like this. But let's go ahead and see. 1 and 2. Holding shift, I can measure my line using the transform pattern tool here. 564.5. So it should be close. Oh, this is also because this is no longer on the same grain, which is why we're swapping it back. Because that might also be affecting how this looks. Let's make this 10 particle distance. It's still from the little guy there. $564. Make this one a little longer. Will I be adding accessories? Probably not. I would like to, but I do want to actually get cover the, what is it? I wanted to cover the fit suit because I know a lot of people have been struggling with that. My specs match the recommended specs on the website. Eric, can you share the recommended specs in the chat for me? $564. Change length. I think it's wrinkling just because of the 564.5. Change length. Change length. And then bop. Pretty sure it's because it's going around this corner. Why? I didn't affect it by accident, did I? I'm gonna check something here. I didn't solidify this. I did not. Yeah, this just needs to come forward again. Just playing with this. I don't know why it's wrinkling. I probably just did something that I didn't see or hit some buttons on my keyboard that I didn't notice. So I'm trying to figure out why it's wrinkling because it shouldn't be wrinkling like this. There we go. That's better. I must have done something to the seam, to the sewing relationship. Come on. M. I'm just sewing this back into place using the free sewing tool. Holding shift to do multiple segments and simulating. I am hoping I did not cross this. We're gonna see. Oh, I didn't. Good. There we go, because the hood is looking way better now. I still think I might need to add some more length to the front, but we're going to see. I'm going to apply the nylon fabric again. And let's go right ahead and apply the seam tape to the front points again. Pull up the chat. Let's see. Is this what I want? Let's make this a little bit more pointed. We'll try the point one more time. We'll see how it looks. And I'm just going to check the... Oops. Don't do that. Delete segment points, not segment lines. 602. Do we like the square look? Come on. I can put the line there, but let's see how this looks. Colliding it with her head. Yeah, let's actually make this more of a point though. So 304.1. So I'm selecting the line, going to split. Line 2 is 304.1. Hello. Wrong one. And then we'll apply it to the other side. And then I'm just going to put both a crease and a point there. Split 304.1. Oh, wrong one. Yeah. I'm going to add an internal line just to make this crease a little bit easier and hold. Thank you, Eric. Again, I'm just going to use the tool to show you. I want to pull it down towards her head so it makes the fold angle less than 180, so it'll go down just a little bit so we have that crease here. And I want to add a segment point, so right click, extend and trim, and add point to pattern outline. Just grabbing that, pulling it down. It will slightly increase the length of the line, but it shouldn't make much of a difference. And we'll unfreeze all of this so it settles into place. And let's make the nylon canvas see-through again. Make the belt layer 0. Or Control A, make everything layer 0. And let that simulate for a second. Oh yeah, let's toggle that back on. And then again, this is just the simulation window. This will look different when you actually render, something like this, which I can do later. I can post that in the Discord channel. But let's go ahead and call this design done. We do have a half hour left. So I want to show you guys how to make the, to make a fit suit. I would like to add accessories, but I would like to cover fit suits. So I can probably play with it a little bit later off stream so you guys can see this. But I do want to get to the fit suit first. Yep, and now we save. Rosemary, I really need you to stop reading my mind. You're like, how come you have future lag? I have past lag with the stream, and you have future. You have like 30 seconds in the future. So I'm saving this as my project outfit. I'm just calling this outfit 3. Because I would like to do a little bit more to the sleeves, but we'll see what happens, because I do want you to see how patterns change when you put them onto a different avatar. So I've done all of this. I'm actually going to delete everything. File, new. I'm not saving. I'm going to go ahead and make a fit suit for Hannah. So she is a very differently shaped avatar to the one I was working on. So I'm going to go ahead and make a fit suit for her. So you can do this with any avatar that you're importing, so long as they have 2 arms and 2 legs. Import into the window, make sure they're facing, if you hit number 2, they're facing forward and they're on 0. That is going to be important for making a fit suit. So I'm going to go in the 3D window, and I have some options here. I have the create fit suit, retarget draping, and I have auto fitting. These are 3 different three different tools right now. So I'm going to choose the create fitting suit. And here I am creating my fitting suit. The first thing it's asking for me to do, number 1, I have symmetry turned on, so it's just going to be doing all of one side. Follow the highlighted lines here. So the first one is going to be the neck. So I'm going to make her a fitting suit, being as parallel to the ground as I can. Made the upper neck and now the lower neck. Her waist. So I'm choosing the smallest part of her. And I do want to check this one. She has a severe sway back, so don't be surprised if you're, like specifically for her, if it's not perfectly perpendicular to the ground. It does affect how things will fit, so we'll see. Now it's moving on to the arms and the wrists. So it's having me do the screen left wrist. Don't actually do left worn, because that would be the other side. So I'm just following the highlights here. Then her elbow. And then the shoulder. Next is the upper thigh. I can also fix the upper thigh if I need to, which I just did. The knee. I will angle this just because it doesn't really matter in this case. And then her ankle, I will make this flat. Apply, and we'll see how this looks, see if there's any gaps. Obviously, I can just kind of fix the chest if I need to. So here's the fitting suit for my avatar. And I want to check it. It looks fine. And I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm going to make this number 2. I've made one before, but it'll appear in my avatar options, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. So here is my Hannah with a fit suit. I'm going to go ahead and now open that previous project. Outfit layer 2. Oh, wait, wrong one. Open project. Outfit 3. I don't know why I thought it was 2. Just open. I will make it a little more opaque. Just because it looks kind of cool. Now, I've made this on my base avatar that comes with Marvelous Designer. She already has a fitting suit. So I'm going to go ahead. I've simulated it. I'm going to go ahead and delete her and bring in the fitting suit avatar that I've made for Hannah. You can see it's clearly a different size than everything here. So, closing this, I've made the garment on an avatar with a fit suit. So it already has simulation applied. It already has a fitting suit information from the previous avatar. Now I can use the either auto-fitting or retarget draping. So the difference between these two is auto-fitting is actually going to change the size of the garments to fit as close as it can to the suit, to the fit suit on Hannah. Whereas if I chose retarget draping, it would not change the size. It would just put like an oversized sweater on the avatar. So I'm going to choose the retarget or the auto fitting, not retarget draping. I want to maintain pattern curvature. I want to keep this up here. I don't have any graphics, so we're going to go ahead and move forward with that. And it'll take a little bit because it's doing a lot all at once. It's going to simulate, it's going to target it, and it's going to fit it and change the size. But it will also change how this pattern looks in the 2D window. Because changing such a severe pattern is never going to be perfect, but it'll fit her pretty well. I did test this, how the pattern looked on her earlier. And I do have multiple layers on here, so it does take a little bit of time. For those of you watching on the stream, do you have any questions about the fit suit and making them? Because I know some people have had issues with it or are struggling, at least in our Discord channel. And now it's draping. Why am I flickering? I don't know. Oh, you mean this? This is my it's hiding the background. That's why I have this aura going on. All right. Okay, yeah, Kitty, when you for your avatars being human sized, it is important. Oh, look, you can see it tried to make the skirt and pants. That's why it's draped like that. Yeah, you do want to bring things in at human scale, which is 120, 1200 to 2000 in height. Am I using the NVIDIA thingy to get rid of the BG? I don't know what that question is. Oh, for Hannah, she has pigtails, so the hood is going through her head. And we can see here how much more curved these patterns have become. So I'm not going to simulate all of this yet. I'm actually going to freeze this so we can see it, so it's opaque. Yes, thank you, Rosemary. Millimeters. Oh, there's an NVIDIA feature. No, I'm just using one of those streaming ones. I paid like $30 for it, and it's getting rid of the background, and I can zoom in with my camera. No, I don't have NVIDIA Broadcast. I'm using a different program for that. So I'm going to move the hood out of her head. So I'm going to go ahead, not simulate, grab these pieces. Look how tiny this hood is. What? All right. Well, I mean, that's what happens sometimes. I'm going to unfreeze just this, select most of this hood, and just pull it out this way. Her head is quite small. I'm going to change her hair too. 1 second. Hair. We'll give her a neon bob here. But as you can see, it'll change, but you might need to do some pattern manipulation and changing of sizes of things. Because this is too small for her head. But for a quick size change, it's not bad. Not in Marvelous Designer. We are a cloth simulation software. So Marvelous Designer, you want to bring in an OBJ. Those hairstyles do come default with Marvelous Designer 10, yes. Yeah, anime heads are huge, but it also made the hood really tiny. Like, it's way smaller than it is, but I mean, it's probably because of what happened here. Let's make sure. Okay, I'm gonna freeze the belt because that's gonna cause an issue. I'm gonna keep that frozen. I want to do the opposite. Control A. And we'll let that settle. It doesn't make much of a difference. I personally prefer OBJ if it's not going to be something that's moving. FBX, you can bring in animations like that. So for fitting, let's go ahead and just show you what happened with the fit suit. I'm going to hide the coat first. Hide 3D pattern. So with the coat, it actually fits her pretty well. It definitely fell down a little bit because she has a sway back, which is what's going on here compared to the other avatar. This is, let me zoom in here. This is fitting like it's overlapping because she is basically leaning backwards. And this piece changed in size as well, just because her bust is much larger. I probably will need to fix this. I mean, if I was to animate this, I can also just pin it. The other one did have a pin or two. Tack on avatar, I can just go ahead and tack this above her chest. To keep things in place. And, 3D window. Pull this out just a tad and let it come back in. Makrina, I don't know how to say your handle. I hope I'm saying it correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. The software can depict different qualities of elastic fabrics. Yes. These are all very stable fabrics right now that are actually being stretched at the moment. But you can do different fabrics such as knits and things like that. That's what was asked in the YouTube chat here. I am going to pull her skirt down just because there's some wrinkling going on. Maybe I can fix it. Come on. I hope you're not asking to use this fabric. So the question that was asked in the chat that I'm translating from Greek is asking how much does the program cost and how many languages do you translate? I don't know how many languages we translate to, but I would recommend taking a look at our website. I do not recommend using this if you want to make real life garments. We do have a sister program for that specifically. This software is used for the film and video game and VFX industries. Pull up. Oh, the whole skirt is 20 particle distance, so I'm going to fix that. But Marvelous Designer is $39 a month USD. There we go. Come on. I would recommend a cage. Otherwise, you can do multiple layers of cloth. In real life, you would have a crinoline. You can cheat it by putting a bell-shaped OBJ underneath your skirt if it's not going to be animated, or if you aren't ever going to see the feet. You can just put that. You can make an avatar with that structural support underneath it. That would be the easiest way to do that and create the look of a crinoline or a cage crinoline underneath it. Okay, so we've seen the pattern change here. I can make adjustments if I want. I'm just pulling this off of the back. Because I did create a fake cage, 123EE. I did make the fake cage for the previous, like, Rococo, you know, the band gowns, that because they were so wide. I made a fake cage that simulated the giant pannier, the giant side things. I can never say it right. But my avatar was not meant to ever walk or ever be animated. So keep that in mind if you do want to have your avatar animate. All right, so that is what has happened and changed with the skirt. I do want to bring in the garment after this, but I do want to show you what happened with the jacket. All right, cool. Interesting. I know what I did wrong. I animated that and simulated it. I'm very afraid of what's about to happen. Oh, okay, thank God. That's not bad. The software that I used to render at the beginning of our stream was our sister software, Clo 3D. I just did a quick and dirty just render. I used the rendering engine that's inside of that software. This hood is so small. Let's go ahead and fix that hood here. Turning off simulation. So as you can see, when I did the size change, I'm going to go ahead and just delete this out of my way right now. Any tutorials? For the older versions of Marvelous Designer, we have CG Elves, where we had some really good tutorials. I can't remember her name. She starts with an L. She made some pretty good tutorials because she has experience also in the sewing, in like real life sewing, which is basically Marvelous Designer. Lori Griffiths. Thank you, Rosemary. I'd recommend those two. I think those two are the most useful and easy to understand tutorials. But yeah, I would check the Discord channels for that. If you join our Discord, I'll share the links at the end of the stream. You can see the tutorial resource channel, and you can just go from there. I'm going to move her arms down to her sides again, just because it is affecting how the shoulder is fitting, so I want to see what's going on with that. Avatar, go back. Pose. Arms at her sides. So as you can see, it does fit very different, and I'm going to have to do a bit of cleanup here. But I did want to show you what happens when you do a fit suit, because you can do a full outfit. Come on. But you can see here some of the things that changed I need to get rid of. This has been scaled down, so I do need to probably scale the buttons, but I'm just going to remove this button and this extra button just for the sake of the stream, just so we can see it and it's a little bit cleaner. Yeah, her hood is just super tiny just because of how this transformed. So I'm going to go ahead and just fix that. You guys saw me fiddle with it earlier, so let's go ahead and do that again. I'm just going to use the arrangement points. Because she has arrangement points, this makes it easier. Oh, come on. Rotate. Wrong rotate. Blue. The tiniest hood. I don't want to change the seam length here, so I'm not using the transform tool. But I am going to grab this, make this taller. Which will affect this size, but that's fine. Much taller. Much more out. And then measure this. This lower line will be 284.7. Which makes this change length 284.7. Make sure it's on the bottom. Okay. I should have symmetrically linked this across the half. That would be more efficient, but I didn't do that, so this is what we're having to deal with. Change length 284.7. Not the start, I want it at the end. Making sure it's going the right direction. And then measuring this piece, 308. Change length 308. Making sure it's the correct end. Change length 308. Making sure it is going the right direction to the end. And I'm just going to freeze this one because it will be going into the collar, and that's all it's going into. So because this is so much smaller, I do need to consider how this is fitting her. So I'm actually going to pull it down. Unlike I did on the actual human or human-sized or shape avatar. This looks much better. Don't accidentally close it while you do your hotkeys. And I just did Control J to activate this so we can see how it looks on her. I'm gonna select all of this. And let's bring in the previous one so we can compare, making sure it's on add. Oh, I needed to bring in the avatar too. File, add, whole project, outfit, 3, and avatar, okay. And then I'll just move it to the side so we can all see it. I did kind of lose my shoulder points. I'm looking at it, I might fix it. We're gonna see. I'm gonna move everything to the side. I'm just gonna remove the avatar just so we can see this way. Oh, they went towards the back because of how she's standing. Look. Whoops. Don't simulate before this falls. Oh, I love that it's superimposed, but I didn't mean to do that. I'll step back and then move the project out of the way. Deactivate. Delete avatar. Okay. Look, it went towards the back, actually. Now I can simulate. Because it's going around her bust. I lost it because of how it's fitting. Because her shoulders are so rolled back. It's still relatively here. It's just, if we look at their shoulders... This is more on the true shoulder point, but because of how she's standing, it's fitting backwards, and because of her bust is much larger. So to fix that, I'm going to have to add volume here and here. Just eyeballing it. Possibly to fix it. It might fix it. I know this is straining because of the bust. I did that too high. But because of how she's standing, she's squeezing the back of her shoulders. So the points are here, but they're going super far back. Bust is sort of fitting better. I'm gonna have to roll the entire piece if I want the shoulder to stay. I'd have to roll all of this way. Using the draw on avatar tool, I'm just drawing 3D pattern tool, I'm just turning this into an internal line. So we can see I'm going to need to move this, all of this, to the front because she's rolled her shoulders so far back to get that same look. So let's see. We have a little bit of time. But I did want to show you guys, at least on this stream, what happens and how the fitsuit is useful. But if your avatar is severely different in a different pose, you will need to just kind of be aware and be prepared for things being fitting different. Extend and trim, add a point. Because this is going to be that new point. Actually, I don't want to trim and add a point. Because what I need to do is grab. We're gonna see what happens. I'm gonna just play with this and see what happens if I try to cheat this. So I'm matching up these lines, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab all of these points and then move them. I think I need to flip this one. So don't simulate if you're doing this. We're gonna see what happens if I try this. Because now I need to flip this one back. And I'm probably gonna have to fix this wrinkle here. Because her fit is so different. And flip horizontally. Turning back on the arrangement points. I can check her. Oh, this is fit for the wrong arrangement points for some reason. That's fine. Reset. Where's reset 3D? Ah. And I'm just going to select these. Re-rotate them back into the correct location. And we're going to see if that fixed it. I'm going to do the same thing to the sleeve. Reset 3D arrangement. This one became flat because it was probably the mirrored piece, so that's fine. Let's see if that fixed it. I'm going to select the sleeves. Invert selection. Freeze. I'm going to find out what happens here while I translate these comments. Hello. Yay, worked. Looks like it might actually work this time. We're going to unfreeze this. If I can, there we go. All right, cool. I sort of fixed it. Let's fix that curve here. Not too bad, not perfect. And then I just need to shift this back. So this is now forward because she's putting her shoulders super far back compared to how the other avatar was standing. That's why they were pointing towards the back. You can actually see here, I would personally prefer to fix this line, but just because we're at the end of the stream, you can see that pattern change. But that did fix those points. Relatively okay. I would say to do a little bit more. But this is something that happens with the severe grading change or with the severe pattern sizing change, because she has a larger chest, she's standing differently, especially because her shoulders are much further back. Let me stop simulating. Compared to the other avatar, her shoulders are much further back, and she has a sway back going on. So her back is far more curved based on how she's standing, which is a very anime style. But it does change how the garment fits. But it is much faster. Make the garment and then make some cleanup work afterwards. But when this does become available, I will just keep the basic avatar garment available for everyone to download when it becomes available, because I don't think everyone wants to put the garment onto Hannah. So let's go ahead, and we're nearing done. What am I doing? I just made this garment. This is the second part of the stream here. We're just finishing up now. And we just finished taking this garment from this size, from basic human size, to a more anime style size, and we did some pattern manipulation and some changing to it to make it fit her more accurately, to get the fit more appropriately. Because what's important with the fit on this one, with the jacket, is the hood. It needed to be changed to be larger, and the shoulders were super far back, and one of the commenters, Rosemary here, pointed out that we lost those points because she has her shoulders very far back in her exaggerated pose, so we needed to bring them forward, which is when I believe you came in. And this is part 2 of a stream, which we did just finish. We're nearing the being done here, but we did make the garments on the previous stream, and we finished it up here. This will be downloadable once. I'm not going to give you this one. I'm not going to give you this one. You can't see my hand. I'm not going to give you Hannah because this would be a little too severe. I will give you this one, though. I do want to add... I'll decide if I want to add any accessories, but most of the time it's going to be cloth. I don't think you want, like, a cloth visor or something. So this is pretty much going to be it. I'll do a little bit of cleanup work. But this is... these garments are free just for reference and for educational purposes. Don't expect things to be made on stream in exactly 4 hours to be amazing and perfect garments, but they are useful, I would hope. So let's go ahead, and we are finishing up. So I'm going to give you those links again. Someone was asking for tutorials in resources, so I'm going to put those in the chat for our Discord. Oh my gosh. Let me see what... Okay, he just said the same thing multiple times. So there's a link to our Discord channel where we do have tutorials, and basically, like, over time we have a lot of our users that have been using Marvelous Designer for a lot of years, and so we've kind of shared all of our preferred resource materials there. We do have, like, historical patterns and free public domain patterns that are available there that you can use. We've done some history and historic streams, which you can follow along, or you can just go to those references that are in there. Basically, a lot of it is from archive.org and those pattern cutting resource books. Here's our website where you can go to our forum and you can see, like, questions on there and interact on our forum as well as our website where you can download the software for 30 days for a free trial and see how you like it. And for those of you who are on our Twitch, again, here is a link to our... Wait, that's our website. I didn't finish. I replaced our link. There we go. Here's a link to our YouTube channel. We will leave up for the 2 weeks this stream, but we will let it expire after those 2 weeks. But on our YouTube channel, we will have these streams up in perpetuity. And for those of you who are new to Marvelous Designer, who have never used it before, here is a link to our beginner tutorials for getting used to the user interface and how to just kind of get started making some stuff. Here I did a lot of pattern manipulation of existing garments. For example, the coat. The previous stream I made the skirt and the top both from scratch and from a pattern that I made for one of those tutorials from the, I want to say it was the modular mode one where I turned something into a pattern block, which you can follow along with and have those patterns. And then for those of you who are working in Marvelous Designer and you just are having technical issues, feel free to message us on our support email. It's kind of the support forum here. If you're having technical problems and like the Discord or one of us in the Discord, if you're asking questions there and you're just kind of struggling and you think it might be a bug or there's something going on with the software on your computer, you can feel free to contact us through support. Let me open project. But thank you all so much for joining us. I'm going to end with how it looked before we put it on Hannah, because it is pretty much done here. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I will do a render of this later so it looks nice and pretty, because this is clearly not rendered. But thank you so much for joining us, and we are almost done with this stream. Let us know if you have any questions. Oh, as well, I forgot one more thing. If you have ideas for streams and you want us to, let me put the title of this. If you want to see more things on the streams aside from the things I'm picking, I've picked all of these. I'm happy to let you guys choose what you want me to make. But I've picked these ones. If you have any ideas that you want to see on the stream, feel free to email at us at community@marvelousdesigner.com. I've also thrown it in the chat here. Please don't send us your technical issues. This one is just for community event ideas, and like if you want us to do different types of streams, or if you want us to also do artist spotlights, because we are starting to do artist spotlights on our social media. So yes, thank you all so much for joining us. I will translate this last message here. Yeah, the translator does not translate. But yes, thank you so much for joining us, and feel free to hang out in our Discord. I do monitor the Discord, and let us know if you have any questions. But thank you so much for joining our stream. We may do another stream next week. We'll see. We'll make an announcement on our Discord as always. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your week.